Hello and welcome to coachingbasketball.co.uk. My name is John Officer and this is episode 5 of our look at the Flex Offence. In this episode and the next one we're going to deal with what happens when the ball goes into the corner. This particular episode we're going to deal with the back pick option, which is really generated when the post player is on the weak side of the ball. So really what we'll deal with here at this point in time is number 5 going up to set a back pick on the passer, who is number 1. Number 1 will cut into the lane off of the screen, look to receive the ball for number 3 and make a shot, or to swing the ball across to number 4. Very simple offense. There is a counter to that which we'll deal with in just a second, and a different opportunity for a screen down as opposed to a back pick. But just for the moment we'll deal with the teaching points right here. That first pass to number 3, if you think number 5 is going to go up and set a back pick, that's going to pull his defender up and out of the 3-second area. So really you have an isolation opportunity taking place off of that first pass. One other point to mention which might be forgotten about, considering we're a few episodes into this offense now, make sure that you get your guys to V-cut to get open. It's going to allow them a little bit of space to catch the ball correctly, but it also should allow just a little bit of separation between the offensive player and the defender, allowing him to make a move. So really what you want there is number 3 cutting straight to the basket and looking for a shot opportunity to take place right there. Once after that teaching point, then you have to deal with number 1. Make sure that number 5 comes up, sets a good quality screen just off of the defender, number 1's defender. Number 1's going to take his man away from the ball and then cut shoulder to shoulder across that screen down into the 3-second area. In reality, you're probably looking at a bounce pass to have to complete that play just to get past number 3's defender, or an overhead pass taking place right there. Number 1 is, when the ball is in his hands right at this point, he really only has 2 legitimate options. First one is the shot, second one is a swing pass to number 4 for the shot in a corner. Second key teaching point really here is that number 4 has to watch his defender. If his defender head turns to look at number 1 as he's coming off of that screen, which it probably will, then number 4 is going to need to relocate further up that 3-point line or to a space where he can shoot. And it means then if number 1 does swing that ball across to number 4, number 4's defender has got to relocate, spend a split second of extra time to find and actually track down his offensive player. And for that to happen, then it buys you a little bit more time for your players to get a better quality of shot. One of the other keys right there is, or one thing to take into consideration would be to do a shooting drill based on this. Set up a chair or something along the lines of where number 1 would be cutting from. Have him cut away from the ball, cut over the top of the screen into the middle of the floor. Have a coach pretend to be number 4's defender. Essentially he should have his feet striding the 3-second line, and then make that coach mix it up slightly, either going into the lane to defend that possible layup or jump shot, or to hedge out towards number 4. And it means then the guys cutting from the top are going to have to learn decision making skills. Who's in the best position to shoot? Do I go straight to the basket, or do I skip this ball out into the corner? A really good sort of shooting drill and decision making drill to get really into the thought process of what you want to achieve from this offense. So we'll look now at the counter really to this back pick. We're going to assume here that the defender, as in number 1's defender, is going to overcome the screen set by number 5 and deny that pass into the middle. What happens then is number 5 should make then a sprint off of the screen right up to the top of the 3-point line, and he should then be open at least for a pass. In a good situation, number 5's defender may go with number 1 if number 1 has maybe scored on a couple of occasions using this play. You'll find that the defender will sort of probably drop down into the 3-second area a bit more likely. And from that perspective then, number 5 should be open possibly for a shot to take place. If no shot's taking place there, then you've got that swing to number 2, and then you're right into your flex offense again. Number 1 sets that flex cut screen out for number 3. Number 3 would go over, and you're back into your usual rotation right there. Finally, for the first option that you would have in the corner, we've got a screen down. We're assuming previously that you have a good athletic player out on the wing, and you've got a post player down in the low post on the weak side. But we'll switch the roles right now, because as you know, the offense rotates all the players into all different spots, so it's never going to be as clear cut as this. So what you can have now is a screen down. Make sure, teaching point, that you get the guy to set a screen underneath the free throw line but not too far. The reason for that is if number 1 catches the ball and the defender goes with him, number 5 then is in a position to land straight to the basket and look for that quick pick and roll action taking place, or he can get down right underneath the basket and you've got to dump down into the post. But the key there is spacing yet again. Make sure that there is some separation between those 2 players so that 1 defender cannot guard 2. Additionally, you've got number 4 open in the corner. That's a likely option as well. Number 2, I wouldn't really look to move him about, just keep him there as a safety option. Have him read that play in the sense of if number 3 gets stuck by the defenders reading the action taking place between number 1 and number 5, you want number 2 to then come across to the other top position and to bail out number 3. For the down screen itself, we've already dealt with this in an earlier edition. You've got the curl, and again I emphasize using verbal cues. Have your player call out curl if he's going to the basket, pop if he's looking for a shot in and around the free throw line, or blast if he's going straight up to the 3-point line. So we've dealt with that in a sort of previous edition, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. The only other thing is you'll see this is probably slightly different to what the other guys have done. If you look out there on the net or in books or on DVDs and tapes, one important key here is adapt this to your players and your personnel. I would tend to go for the back pick and have the action come, the guy cutting into the middle and getting open for that sort of pass. One is because I've got 2 guys who can really get to the basket off of a drive, so that corner pass is a legitimate option for me. Secondly is I got a guy who can get in and not necessarily dunk the ball with any sort of fervor, but he can really get up quite high, so a lob option is there for us. So I would suggest then, if you don't have that sort of thing, then you set the down screen and stick with that as your routine. Ball goes into the corner, you go down screen every time. And again, you have rules for certain players on your team, so you'd always have an exception to each rule. So if you've got one guy who can take a lob, then you just sort of say if he's the passer at the top going into the corner, then he's the guy that receives the back pick. Everybody else gets a screen down. And vice versa, same if you've got a guy who you want working in and around the basket, you've got a sort of Shaquille O'Neal sort of character, you want to set a screen down for him and him to curl round to the basket, and that will be a great opportunity for you right there. So mix it up as and when as it suits your personnel. Think about the guys that you have on your team, and that's one to take into consideration. Episode 6 is going to follow quite quickly. We're going to deal with the corner option when the ball is on the same side as the post player. Thanks very much, and bye bye.